So I just turned 24, but I started doing YouTube when I was 15 because I got my laptop for my 15th birthday. And then I was like, oh, I have an editing software now, so that means I can start my YouTube dreams. So yeah, I started YouTube when I was 15, and now I'm 24, so it's been like 9 years. And I mean, there's been lots of breaks in between then and now, but it's kind of crazy, I don't know. Also, I've got some friends here just because comfort. And this is my leg, by the way, because I'm sitting like a goblin in my chair. But anyway, I think I experienced this more so when I was around like 20, 21, 22. It's weird to say that I was 22 like 2 years ago. Anyway, but I think a lot of people around this age kind of have a hard time accepting that they're growing older, and I think that has a lot to do with like tying your entire identity to being young. And I don't know, I just think that like when you're young, the most interesting thing about you is that you're young. I don't know, maybe I'm just talking out of my ass and this is just like all the weird shit that goes on in my brain that I actually shouldn't say, but I just am saying it anyway. Once you kind of like cut the tether of your youth equaling your entire identity, I think it gets a little bit easier and a little bit more enjoyable aging. Because I remember my very best friend in school, we are the same age. She's a couple months younger than me, but like we're both born in the year 2000, so we're essentially the same age. And she was asking me like, are you excited for your birthday? And I said, I actually am, you know, like I'm actually excited to like grow another year and to like live another year. And that is so weird because I was so convinced I wasn't gonna live past 16. And then once I lived past 16, I was like, all right, I'm not gonna live past 18. And then I did. And then I did actually almost in 2019, but that's a whole other story for another day, which I don't know if I'll ever tell that story. I don't know. But yeah, and then obviously the pandemic happened when I turned 20, and it kind of gave me a lot of time to reflect on like what actually made me me, rather than my entire identity being tied around like my youth and like going out and hanging out with people and kind of building my personality and my interests and my identity on the people that I was around and surrounding myself with, because I couldn't hang out with anyone and surround myself with anyone. I mean, nobody could, obviously. Take a shot every time I say the word identity. Let me know if you get hammered. I think also for me personally, because my teen, like early to mid-teen years were online, and I mean, I had a really small like following, but it was a pretty loyal following nonetheless. Shout out to any of y'all who are still left over, all like 4 of you. But yeah, I think like because 14, 15, 16, 17, there's a massive difference between like a 15-year-old and a 17-year-old. I don't think there's much of a difference between like a 22-year-old and a 24-year-old. Like just thinking introspectively on myself, I don't think there's much of a difference between me at 22 versus me at 24. But you know, the difference between a 15-year-old and a 17-year-old is massive. So when my interests would start changing, or my taste in things would start changing, or my appearance would start changing, people would like question it and scrutinize it, and I don't know, I would get really defensive and upset because, well, one, I was a child, so like, you know, children get really defensive about things, but also because it's like I shouldn't have to justify growing up. I shouldn't have to justify exploring myself and exploring my interests and exploring, you know, like how I want to express myself like physically. That's not the reason why I like stopped uploading and stuff, but it was kind of like a contributing factor. And even when I left, I would get like messages and comments being like, do you still listen to this band, or do you still like this thing? And I would say no, and they would question me. It's like, because I'm 18, because I'm 19, I'm not, you know, 15, 16 anymore. And that's not to say like I'm not grateful and I don't look back on those years really fondly, because I do. But then I also just kind of, towards the end of like my consistent uploading, I can just like see like the sadness and like the hurt in my eyes, because I know what was going on like behind the video. And I don't know, it also just kind of makes me really sad for that kid, because like she just didn't understand what was happening, and she didn't understand why she was feeling these ways. I tend to like look back on that time and think, why did I stop? Because if I didn't stop, then maybe I would have a really huge audience by now, and I would have really huge reach, and my music career would be on the really fast upward trajectory, and I'd be having no worries in the world, and I don't know. But also I think that I think that it was good that I stopped when I did, because I do believe that I was kind of on the cusp of like kind of becoming bigger, just based on like my view counts and stuff. But like I think that it was good that I stopped when I did, because if I would have like blown up or like gotten really popular really fast while I was in that mental state, while I was experiencing the things that I did in my personal life, I don't know if I would have been able to handle it. And I just don't think that I would be where I am today, like physically, like living in a different city, living in a different country. I definitely like went through really terrible, horrible experiences throughout that time, and I think that having that time not be online and not feeling like I need to put on a persona to please other people, I think that that was really helpful. I try really hard not to think about like the what ifs, but sometimes it's hard. But I also like to tell myself that most things happen for a reason. I don't say everything happens, because then that just excuses like really traumatic, life-ruining events. I don't like that. But I do say most things happen for a reason. There were a few times when I tried to come back to YouTube, and I think that, I don't know, I don't think you're ever fully ready for something. I think you're always gonna feel a little bit too incomplete to start something. But I think that at those times I was just like, I don't know, I just didn't have like a goal or like a vision as to why I was doing it. I think now I kind of do. Like I just want an outlet again. Even if like nobody watches these videos except for like my sister-in-law and like my boyfriend, like that's, I don't care. Like I have a lot of things to say and I don't care if anyone listens. But I just want to get it out of my head so it can stop cluttering up my brain, you know? This is Skippy, by the way. And this is Stevie. So, just in case you're wondering their names. I don't know, I'm 24. I'm living in London. I have an amazing boyfriend. I have really good friends. And I'm doing okay. I don't know, if I could, oh my god, why am I getting emotional? If I could just go back and like tell my 16-year-old self that like it's gonna be okay, then I think she'd be really happy with where I am right now. And that's all I can ask for, I guess. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying. I don't even know if what I'm saying makes sense. I'm just finally starting to feel like myself again. But yeah, life didn't end when I was 16 or 18 or 19 or 20 or 21. Anyway, I don't know. I think I'm just gonna sing songs and talk about things on this channel. And if you want to stick around, then cool. But if you don't, that's also cool, because you can make your own choices. I do think it is really sweet though when I get like comments on like my TikTok or on my Instagram, or like I get messages or something and people say like that they've been watching me since I was like 16 and they're like around the same age as me. Like we're all collectively 24 now. Great. I like the idea of kind of we're all growing up together. That's all. Do you guys have anything you want to add? Skippy? Okay. If my chair would stop squeaking, that'd be great.